Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Today's video, very luckily, was wet at Landout at the weekend, so I've managed to be able to get a side by side between wet and the dry. There's about 6 months difference between the two, but I'm going to use this and it will show you the importance of and the difference to wet lines and dry lines. Obviously I've got the dry on the left and the wet on the right. It will show the different lines. I'm going to stop and sync things up so they are near each other so you can get a proper side-by-side view, but this is a dry lap and a wet lap, and the guides on what you should be doing different to what you usually are between the dry and the wet. So first of all, you need to understand what the wet line actually is. So when rubber gets really wet, it becomes like ice. There's no grip on it. So a wet line will be going wide around the corner and staying off your typical dry racing line. That way you'll have more grip and you'll be able to get around the corner, and it will give you an advantage over other racers who don't know what a wet line is. So to help me on this video, Landout is really lucky that it's got white dots sprayed all over the place so we can use them as reference points. So here's one on the dry, here's one on the wet. You can see from the wet side, I'm really steering it because I've got slicks on in the wet. I'm expecting to understeer. I'm still trying to aim my car at the same sort of corner, but I'm trying to rotate it on the rear. You can see from the left hand one I was there nice, and the right hand one I was understeering. Left stays inside the seam, right goes to outside the seam, so that is outside the rubber. The left is obviously dry, that's where the rubber puts down. The right is wet, so you want to stay out of it to give you the most amount of traction. There is a wasp attacking me, as you can see. Both points are pointing towards the same exit point because it's such a narrow corner you can't really get through it without going onto the rubber. And then it aims to it. So you can see the difference there. So it's all about staying off the rubber mark. So we come down into the next corner when we eventually get there because it's in slow motion. You can see the difference. So here we go again. White marks on the entry. Keeping out wide. Then on this one, this is like a long left, so I want to stay off the rubber. On the left hand side, you can see I'm attacking it. That's your normal dry line. On the right hand side, I'm at least 2 cart whips away, staying off the rubber. And on the left hand side, I then drift out wide because that's the racing line. You want the least amount of resistance. On the right hand side, I've gone right onto the inside, and that avoids all the rubber again. So as you can see on the right, I've not gone to full width. I've gone mid-track, and that's to once again avoid the rubber. It also opens out the angle for the steering, so I'm having to put less effort in to get the car to rotate around the corner. So now both these videos are going to be going down the straight. Let me just break it into this. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I'm on like 1050 now. It's mad. I really do appreciate it all. I enjoy speaking to a lot of people I see, so thank you for all that. So then at Landout the weekend, normally I'll be attacking this corner on the right as if I was doing it in the dry. One of the good things about being a kart tester is that I get to practice and try different lines. So you can see here I've lined up both lines here essentially doing the same thing. But what I discovered was the actual faster line was around the outside of this corner. Now I didn't know that in the morning, but throughout testing we found out in the afternoon that the actual wider line was faster, which would make sense because you are running around staying off the rubber. But because it's such a fast corner, I was under the impression that it would be like attack it, slide out, control the drift. It turned out it wasn't. Which is also one of the bonuses of paying for my tuition, because the guys I had tuition for, I let them know that, which really helped them in the wet. So coming into this section corners here, what we normally do different between the dry and the wet is, because it's such a tight and narrow entry, you've got to re-attack it. So the first part is the same line. The second part is, though, you can see on the left, I'm fully on the curb. That means the outside wheel is loading up. On the dry side, I've avoided it. And then again, we're going to over-exaggerate the left. So here I am all the way to the left-hand side. On the dry, I'm fully attacking it. That is near enough all 4 wheels over it. On the wet, I'm staying wide. So I'm not choosing to run as many curbs, because when you run a curb, your kart gets offloaded onto the side, which will then require more grip. You can also see here on the left, that is a full dry racing line all the way to the outside. On the right, I went mid-track. Discovered that because that reduced wheel spin in the heavy acceleration spot, so that meant we had a faster exit coming out of it. You can ignore the fact that the left-hand side is using the cut through, the right-hand side isn't. It's just different events. So coming down into the last and final corner of Landout, there is a track transition. That is a braking point, probably a kart length back in the dry. In the wet, it's a lot earlier. You can also notice I braked to the right hand side of the track. That was braking off the rubber, which meant it's more efficient and I could stop quicker. I've then gone past your normal traditional turning, stayed off the rubber, but not so far I'm actually adding on too much extra lap time. So I've gone off the rubber and then gone as far wide as I can without picking up the heavy traction spot. So that is your basic guide on how to drive in the wet with side-by-side comparisons. Thank you for watching my video. There will be more coming up. This is the full speed. Enjoy.